A lot of the Arab nations that have formed coalitions with you were reluctant and resistant for decades to ever be a part of the solution.
The question, and this is always the question with these guys, is who is going to run Gaza? Who's going to run it? There's a couple clans there. Who's going to run it? Is Tony Blair coming in to run it? Because they'll really love him. And can you really make sure that nobody from Hamas is part of it? That seems kind of tricky, because also Hamas, it's a little bit like Antifa. Like, you don't get the laminated card and everything else. So we'll see about that. Anyway, here's Kilmeade with a bit more.
Hamas will not have any role in the governance of Gaza, we should hope. Israel will not occupy or annex Gaza. That's not going to be an issue. The issue was really more the West Bank area, where the Palestinian Authority mostly has the authority. But I don't think they're looking to take any Gaza. And I don't think that was much of something to be hurdled. Gaza will be governed by a temporary transition government. This is going to be key. And that government's going to be chaired by a peace council by President Trump. And then there's going to be people like Tony Blair, who's given basically his post-prime minister career to trying to find some way forward on a two-state solution or whatever's possible in the area. The question is, if you see Westerners in that region, we know they were targets when the Iraqi transition was taking place, will they be targets again? And the possible path to Palestinian self-determination and statehood. It's all going to be performance-based.
All right, so first on the Israel will not occupy or annex. Remember, on October 6, 2023, there was not one Israeli in Gaza. They wanted nothing to do with the place. They left in 2005. They called it a disengagement because they realized there's no one to negotiate peace with. How about you guys just leave us alone? And then for 20 years, unfortunately, Hamas dug tunnels, built a war machine, planned October 7th, all of those things. So the fact that Israel is not going to annex or occupy it, well, that just takes you back to October 6th. I think the thing that has fundamentally changed is that they will realize in Gaza, whoever's in charge, you can't be doing the tunnels anymore. You can't be breaking through the fence anymore. You have your territory, stay there. Stay out of Israeli territory, stop shooting rockets, and then you will have peace. So I think that that's basically just fine. The Gaza transitional government, as I said, like, you got to figure out, well, what does that really mean? There's a couple clans there, and there's kind of warring factions, which gets you to the board of peace that Trump is going to head and Tony Blair. Like, all of that, you have to see if it works, right? But again, all of the credit, it cannot be overstated, belongs to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, a master negotiator. Donald Trump, who believes in peace through strength. Donald Trump, who, unlike Joe Biden, although not that Joe Biden was in charge, but Joe Biden was hampering Israel along the way. Donald Trump said peace through strength. You exert maximum leverage. You're dealing with crazy jihadists. They kind of only respond to one thing. And over the last couple months, how many times did Donald Trump basically say, Hamas, enough snuff, all of the hostages now? And then finally, we got there, but it was also because of what Donald Trump did, what was that, about 6-7 months ago, when he went to Saudi Arabia and he said to all of these countries, we're not going to tell you how to live, but if you want to be part of America, meaning if you want to be a partner with us where we can share in success and you'll get security guarantees and all sorts of stuff, then get on board. And that, I think, by America leading, has created the conditions that the Arab countries are now getting on board Trump's vision for the world. Take a look.
A lot of the Arab nations that have formed coalitions with you were reluctant and resistant for decades to ever be a part of the solution. That was a big part of what happened here today. Can you explain that part of it?
Well, I develop relationships with people, and sometimes those relationships lead to great things. And in the case of many of the Arab nations, the wealthiest nations in the world, if you look, although with what we've done in the United States, I think we top everybody by a.
And that's why when Trump went to Saudi Arabia and there were so many people like, he shouldn't be talking to these guys, or even Qatar, who's funded a lot of this and they fund Al Jazeera and all of these things, I was kind of like, yeah, you've got to reach out to these guys, because you can start creating conditions where they're like, you know what? We don't want to be in perpetual war. Even Qatar, right? Like, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, Israel tried to take out the Hamas leadership in Qatar. It partially worked, partly didn't. But then suddenly the Qataris were like, boy, the Israelis could bomb us too because we're housing these guys. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this. So everyone just has to realize all you've got to do, it ain't rocket science. I know it's probably tougher because there's religious connotations around it. But all you've got to do is just say, hey, the Jews have the little sliver. It's okay. We don't have to love them, but let's not try to constantly exterminate them.